Hi everyone, this is Crystal, and today I'm working on week 37 in my Project Life album for Citrus Twist Kits. I have very few photos, so if you saw my video for week 36, you know I had a ton of photos. This week I have very few. In fact, I normally don't include these kind of crafty photos, but that was really all I had. So that's what's going in this week. I have a whole pile of goodies from Citrus Twist. So I have a bunch of stamp sets. I have this ephemera pack and some chipboard stars. I have a bunch of alphas. And then I also have the Marigold 6x8 paper pad, which is new to the shop this month. I'm really excited to use this. And I'm thinking I might actually pull out the ephemera that we got in the add-on kit a couple months back. But I'm going to see if I can make what I have here work first. So that's my plan. I'm going to use this as my cards or paper. I have alphas, I have embellishments, and I have stamps. And I'm probably going to pull in some plain paper as well because I want to do some stamping with this, this amazing, what is it called? Get Messy. Can you see how huge this stamp set is? It has so much on here. I really want to use lots of this, especially because I have lots of crafty photos. So yeah, I'm thinking I will probably grab some plain paper to do some stamping on, and then yeah, we're just going to see how this goes, see what we can come up with. So I'm going to go ahead and put you on fast forward and get started. So the first thing I'm going to do is just place the photos where I think I'm going to want them on this spread. Like I said, I don't have a lot of photos, so I'm just trying to get a good balance here of both color and shape, and of just not having all the photos grouped up in one area. And then instead of going straight to the paper, I'm going to start with the ephemera pack because I don't know what's in here yet. I haven't used this yet. It's new to me. I want to see what's here. And then I want the ephemera that I choose to help me guide what papers I choose to put behind it. So I'm starting with the ephemera, and then I'll find papers in the paper pack that, or paper pad, that will work with the ephemera that I've chosen. So taking a little bit of a different approach, still kind of the same principles as my normal approach, but just doing it in a slightly different order. So looking through all of these, this is the tickets and tags ephemera pack, and it is full of exactly that, just a bunch of tickets and tags. I love the tickets and tags from Citrus Twist, so I'm super excited to have this entire pack of them. There were a couple hearts in there as well, so I've kind of set those aside to remember that I might want to use those. And then I'm going to dig into the paper pad. So this is the first time I've opened it, first time I've used it. I'm just trimming off the little plastic pieces on the side. And to do that, I like to use my X-Acto knife, or craft knife. I guess it's not an X-Acto brand knife. It's a We Are Memory Keepers craft knife. And just trim, kind of cut it on one side. I find if I like peel it off, it leaves a sticky residue on the paper pad, and then it tends to stick to everything. So I prefer to just cut out the middle, and I just use a craft knife to get it started, and then just use the scissors on the other side. Okay, so I'm going through the pad to find some papers that work with my photos and with the ephemera that I've chosen. I love that green floral pattern that I've used for my title card. I'm definitely going to use that. It's my favorite pattern in this paper pad. I definitely want to get it on this spread. I've also pulled out that cut apart sheet because I'm thinking I might want to use one of those tags. I have a couple of empty spots here that I need to fill, and I'm planning to use one of them as just kind of a filler. So just a cluster of things to create a filler card, and I'm thinking I'm going to use that on one of them. And then I have chosen a couple different papers for behind my photos. I'm going to actually end up switching these around a bit, and I have that pink one at the top with the gold foil print on it. I'm going to end up actually using that on one of the 3x4 cards instead, and using some white paper to do some stamping on that top card instead. And then I do have that blue stripe paper that in the bottom card. I didn't want to have two white cards. I thought it would look just too empty, so I'm using that blue and white stripe, and I'll figure out a way to add some things on top of it as we go along. I did consider switching it out for this other blue and white, but I like the graphicness, is that a word? I don't know. You know what I mean, of that blue and white stripe instead. Okay, so this is just a sheet of scratch paper. I think it was a 12 by 12 sheet of cardstock that I had maybe done some die cutting or trimmed a piece off of or something like that. It was in my scrap stash, and I'm just cutting a couple pieces, one down to 4x6 and one down to 3x4. I end up getting rid of that 3x4 almost immediately and switching it out for that pink gold foil paper, like I said. But for this one, for the 4x6 card, I want to do kind of a stack of stamps using some of these from the Get Messy stamp set. So before I do that, I'm just going over the entire stamp set with my sand eraser to prime it. I haven't used this yet. This is brand new to me. So by using that sand eraser, it's just going to get rid of any of the residue from manufacturing and make sure that I get a really crisp, clean result when I actually stamp with the stamp. So that's what I was doing. It doesn't take but a second, and it really helps with the quality of the stamping. So once I had this photo on my white background, I realized I needed something to help it stand out a bit better. It was just getting lost with the white background of the photo up against the white background of the card. I needed something else to separate the two. And they weren't the same white either, which was bothering me. So definitely needed something else between them. I chose that blue and white stripe to tie it into the other 4x6 card that's on the opposite side of the spread. Both are photos of my Organize With Me series. So I wanted to tie them together somehow, and that was how I chose to do that. And now I'm just working out what stamps I want to use in the cluster next to my photo, and just kind of figuring out how that's going to work. And then I'm going to grab some black ink. This is VersaFine Black Onyx ink. And I'm going to grab my little mouse pad thing. This is actually a stitching pad, an old one from Amy Tangerine that I use to stamp on every once in a while when I remember to use it, because it helps get a really good impression of the stamp when you have something a bit softer than my glass mat behind it. That's a trick I learned from Shannon, actually. I think she was the first one I saw do that. So I'm just stamping these various stamps in a column to the right of my photo. I did lay my photo there to make sure it all fit. And then I'm thinking about what else I can add here. I feel like it needs something else. So I'm just kind of looking through the things I have set aside there to see what might work. And then I'm going to go ahead and glue my photo down because I know it's not going to go anywhere else. That's exactly where it needs to go on this card. So once I have that in place, I think, oh yeah, I have those stars. Let me get those and add a couple of them. And that's going to bring a lot more color. It was looking too black and white, and I wanted to add in some of the colors from the rest of the spread, so adding those stars helped to do that. And then I'm going to go over to the opposite corner and work on this card since they do kind of go together. So it's sitting on the blue and white stripe background, so I gave it a border of white, so kind of the opposite of the other corner, and then I'm going to go ahead and glue that down. I'm not going to stamp on this one. I thought about it, but I was worried it would look too busy with that background. So instead, I'm going to add a couple of these die cuts from the Tags and Tickets, or Tickets and Tags ephemera pack, and I'm going to stamp on one of those. So there's the one that says Happy, and it has another little phrase below it, but that didn't really apply. So I want to make sure I cover that up with the XOXO die cut that I'm putting below it. And instead, I stamped Creativity in that blank spot. And then I'm also going to add a chipboard star to this one to help tie it in with the other. And then that's going to be it for this card. So for the other cards, I have some die cuts already chosen, already kind of laid aside to use here. For this one, I'm going to create a little cluster. This is a photo of a set of chairs that we brought back from our Noblesville house that I sold this week. And so there was a little tag that said sold. I thought that was perfect. And then I just added the date stamp below. For this one, it's a photo of my my Thankful 30, and I just put Happy Place. It's one of my favorite projects of the year, so I thought that Happy Place was really appropriate for that one. And then I'm working on my filler card here, just adding two tags. One is from the Tickets and Tags ephemera pack, and one is from that cut apart sheet. And then I'm also adding a ticket behind it just to give it a little bit of something extra, another layer, just to give it something more. Otherwise it felt like it was too empty with just those two tags. I like to work in threes anyway, so it just made sense to add a third one. And then I do have a couple little tags just laying on top of the other photo, which is a stack of games that we also got rid of this week. We were doing some major house cleaning, major cleaning out of our garage, and like I said, the other house that we owned, cleaning it out and then just getting rid of a ton of stuff. So lots of photos of all the stuff that we were kind of purging from our lives during this time. I am adding a few staples. Those are gold staples in my gold stapler. That's a trick I learned from Jen Scow. And then I'm going to work on my title card. So for this one, I looked at the alphas I had. I considered pulling out some from my stash that I knew I had that were in that blue color, but instead I'm going to go with these orange ones. And I'm doing that for a couple reasons. First of all, that color orange does appear elsewhere on my spread, but it doesn't really show up well on the title card. So I wanted it to have another presence on the spread. The other reason is that I'm not likely to use orange alphas very often. So if I have a spread that has orange in it that they'll work for, then I need to use them when I have the opportunity to do so. So that is what my philosophy was in grabbing these and deciding to use those. They don't show up very well on camera. You can see them much better in person, partly because of the dimension, but also just the colors show up better in person than they do on camera. So I also have a little tag there from the ephemera pack. It was just a square with a ticket printed on it, but I wanted the whole thing to look like a ticket, so I just grabbed my whole punch and rounded the corners of that ephemera piece, all 4 corners, and then I'm going to use that to add my dates for the week, and I'm just partially inking my tiny date stamp to get both the beginning and ending dates of this week down, and then that's it for the title. Oh, I do add, I'm sorry, I lied. It's not it. I do add another chipboard star on this one. I was playing with those hearts, but if you know me, you know I don't like to mix hearts and stars very often, so I remembered, oh wait, I have those stars, let me try that. So I grab this tiny blue one, and then I go to staple it, and my stapler jams, and it totally ripped the front of that star. So I have to go back and grab a different one instead, but it's okay. It's fine. It's slightly bigger. It doesn't fit quite as well, but it is what it is. Okay, so I think the only thing I have left to do, so before I finish this spread, I did feel like it needed something else in that top corner of that stamped card, and so I was just looking through the ephemera pack again to see if I could find something, and I end up going with this one, even though it has a heart on it, and I'm mixing hearts and stars, but I felt like it was the right color, and I liked that it was striped like that blue and white striped paper. I felt like it just worked really well. So the last thing that I have to do is to fill out this final card, and that's where I'm going to add my journaling, and I want to use the paper that I have there, which is a white and gold paper from that paper pad, but I want to add a white card inside of it and stamp the and then stamp set from that Get Messy, and then I'm just going to handwrite my journaling off camera, and you'll see it here in the close-up photos all done. You'll also notice I did move a few things around just so that the spread felt a little bit more balanced to me, but otherwise that was it. So I hope that you found some inspiration in this video. I hope you enjoyed watching my process. If you did, please do leave a thumbs up. Leave any comments or questions you have in the comments below, and if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you back here soon.